I hope he retires soon. I put Kobe right there also, but Michael and Kobe will kill you. LeBron's a nice guy.
Right.
Michael and Kobe will kill you.
LeBron James sat in front of the cameras, completely composed. That familiar confident smile was there, the kind that comes from years of experience on the biggest stages. Then he said something that made everyone stop and think. Leaning toward the mic, he admitted, "I've never been a numbers guy, to be honest." The statement didn't just surprise people, it sparked a reaction everywhere. Fans were confused, debates started instantly, and social media lit up. Because when you think about it, context changes everything. In sports, contradictions stand out more than anything else. This is the same LeBron James who has spent his career reaching milestone after milestone. The same player who celebrated becoming the all-time scoring leader with pride. The same competitor known for tracking stats, hitting career highs, and pushing for achievements like triple-doubles. That's why the statement hit so hard. It didn't come from just anyone. It came from LeBron James.
He could probably expand on this, but why he's still doing this, at age 41 and in his 23rd season. He loves the challenge of it, and he loves new challenges. And so I think what we've tried to do as a coaching staff is challenge him.
When he says he's not a numbers guy, it doesn't come across as humble. It feels ironic, almost hard to believe. And that's exactly why it turns into pure entertainment gold. Now picture that clip landing in the studio of Inside the NBA. The crew watches it. There's a brief pause, just a second of silence, and then it breaks. Charles Barkley loses it completely. Not a polite laugh or a quick chuckle, but full-on, uncontrollable laughter that fills the room. He leans back, shaking his head, struggling to get the words out, basically saying, "Not a numbers guy? That might be the funniest thing I've heard all week." And that reaction isn't just about the humor. Barkley's laughing because he understands exactly what's behind it. He knows the game, the mentality, and what defines greatness. To him, the contradiction is obvious. Because the reality is, LeBron James didn't just build a career, he built it on numbers. Records, stats, milestones, achievements, that's the foundation of everything he's done. So hearing him distance himself from that idea doesn't just sound surprising. It lands differently.
I find let's talk about the Michael LeBron thing. They played in different eras.
Mm-hmm.
They're, in my opinion, they're right there. It's either A or B.
Okay.
But I will say this about LeBron. Number one, I like him a lot as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Never said that about Michael Jordan. He'll kill you. He'll kill you.
Charles Barkley thrives in moments like this. He lives for situations where an athlete says something that doesn't quite add up, because that's where the real conversation begins. And when he breaks it down, there's no sugarcoating. He brings up the receipts, the moments, the milestones, the patterns, every detail that makes that one statement feel impossible to believe. The way he delivers it is direct and unfiltered, exactly how fans like it. This wasn't just a funny exchange, it was a perfect collision between image and reality, and Barkley knew how to turn it into must-watch TV. Then he starts digging deeper, pulling out the receipts, and that's when it really gets serious.
Like I said, I'd love to see him finish his career in Cleveland, because I've been on the record, I thought he should have never left Cleveland. But this is his last year with the Lakers. The Lakers pretty much this is it.
He points to that moment when LeBron James stayed in the game just to secure a triple-double, because that doesn't happen by accident. That's a choice. It shows awareness, a clear understanding of what the stat sheet says. Then Charles Barkley takes it a step further. He brings up the crown celebration after LeBron broke the all-time scoring record, one of the most number-driven moments in NBA history. That wasn't just a game, it was history being tracked, counted, and celebrated in real time. And it doesn't stop there. Barkley points to those moments when a stat gets sent to LeBron and suddenly it shows up online, like someone proudly showing off a perfect score. You can't say numbers don't matter and then move like that. To Barkley, none of this is random. None of it is coincidence. It's a pattern, and patterns don't lie.
Thing I'm sure of, this is his last year with the Lakers. He's not going to play with the Lakers next year. I've always said I'd like to see him finish in Cleveland. I'm not opposed to him getting traded to Cleveland this year, to be honest with you, because the Eastern Conference is up for grabs.
These aren't just random moments, they're habits, patterns. The kind that reveal how a player builds a legacy over time, step by step, number by number. Every game, every stat line, every milestone, it all adds up. So when LeBron James says he's not a numbers guy, it raises eyebrows. And for Charles Barkley, it does more than that, it becomes comedy gold. Because to Barkley, it's not just a small inconsistency. It's a full-blown contradiction. The kind where what's being said doesn't quite match what we've all seen for the last 2 decades. And instead of just calling it out, Barkley does what he does best. He turns it into a bigger conversation. He starts breaking down what numbers actually mean in today's NBA. And according to him, they're not just stats anymore, they are language. Numbers tell the story of the game. They shape narratives, fuel arguments, and give fans something concrete to hold on to in a world full of opinions. Think about it for a second. Every major basketball debate eventually comes back to numbers. Who's the greatest? Who had the better prime? Who was more efficient? Even the legendary LeBron James versus Michael Jordan debate is built on them. Championships, points per game, shooting percentages, MVPs, it all becomes a kind of scoreboard for greatness. Because at the end of the day, fans don't just want opinions, they want proof. But here's where Barkley flips the narrative a bit. He makes it clear he's not trying to tear LeBron down. That's not the goal. Instead, he's highlighting the gap between what's being said and what's being done, and turning that gap into entertainment. That's his style. He doesn't come across like he's attacking, he comes across like he's exposing something obvious that everyone else is pretending not to see. At the same time, Barkley gives LeBron credit. He acknowledges something important: players are complex. What they say publicly isn't always meant to be taken literally. Sometimes, it's messaging. It's about image, leadership, and setting a tone. So maybe when LeBron says he's not a numbers guy, what he really means is that winning matters more than stats. That the focus should be on championships, not stat sheets. And honestly, that sounds like exactly what fans want to hear from a leader. But Barkley still isn't letting it go. He leans back, smirks, and delivers the reality check. Winning matters, but numbers are still the way players get judged. You can try to downplay them, ignore them, or shift the focus away from them, but they're always there. Tracking everything. Recording everything. Defining everything. And that's where Barkley's real skill comes in. He has the ability to hold 2 truths at the same time. He understands what LeBron is trying to say, but he also sees what LeBron has actually done. And when those 2 things don't perfectly line up, that's where the magic happens. That's where the entertainment begins. Then he takes it even further, adding his signature humor to the mix. He paints this picture: a stats analyst walking up to LeBron with pages and pages of career data. Every stat imaginable. Every achievement documented. And in Barkley's version of the story, LeBron just brushes it off like it's nothing. And that's when Barkley jumps in, playing the analyst himself, raising his voice and saying, "Your career is a spreadsheet." The studio erupts. It's funny, but it also hits a little deeper than that. Because behind the joke is a real question: what actually defines a player in today's NBA? We're living in a data-driven era. Every movement on the court is tracked. Every decision is analyzed. Every performance is broken down into numbers, metrics, and advanced stats. So when a player tries to distance themselves from that world, it stands out. And Barkley knows exactly how to translate that tension for the audience. He makes it simple. He makes it relatable. And most importantly, he connects it to the bigger picture. Then the conversation shifts to the Los Angeles Lakers. Their inconsistency becomes part of the discussion. One night, they look unstoppable. The next night, they look completely out of sync. And with that inconsistency comes noise, media debates, fan reactions, questions about roles, rotations, and even bigger decisions. Barkley ties it all together. He shows how one simple quote can spiral into headlines, debates, and non-stop analysis. And then he drops the key question, the one that sticks: if LeBron isn't a numbers guy, why do the numbers keep following him? From there, he dives deeper into the modern game. Analytics, lineups, defensive ratings, efficiency metrics, all the behind-the-scenes data that teams rely on more than ever before. And then he presents the real dilemma. Do you trust the numbers? Or do you trust the presence of a superstar, a player who can take over a game, shift momentum, and change everything in ways that numbers can't always capture? There's no easy answer. And that's exactly the point. Because this isn't just about LeBron anymore. It's about how the game itself is evolving. Numbers are becoming more powerful, more influential. But at the same time, the belief in greatness, in instinct, in that intangible it factor, hasn't gone anywhere. Barkley plays both sides of that argument, and turns that tension into something people can't stop watching. He even pulls the audience into it. He teases diehard fans who defend everything no matter what. He calls out critics who enjoy these moments a little too much. Suddenly, it's not just a discussion, it's an experience. Everyone's involved. And that's why it works. The clip spreads. The conversation grows. The moment becomes bigger than the show itself. But just when it feels like it's all jokes and entertainment, Barkley shifts again. He reminds everyone of something important, that LeBron James is one of the greatest players to ever step on a basketball court. No debate about that. Behind the humor, there's real respect. Because LeBron's legacy isn't just built on numbers. It's built on longevity, on leadership, on clutch performances, on moments that go beyond anything you can measure on a stat sheet. But still, Barkley circles back one last time. He can't ignore the irony. A player whose entire career has been tracked, measured, and analyzed in every possible way, sounding completely detached from numbers. That contradiction, that gap between words and reality, is what makes the moment stick. And by the end, it's not just about laughter anymore. It's a conversation that keeps going. Fans debating. Analysts breaking it down. Clips spreading across every platform. And that's what Barkley does better than almost anyone. He takes a simple comment and turns it into something bigger. Something about legacy. About identity. About how modern sports really work. Because in the end, sports thrive on contradictions. Great players aren't simple, they're layered. Complex. Sometimes even a little inconsistent. And sometimes, what they say doesn't fully match what we've seen. And maybe that's exactly why moments like this stay with us. So now it comes down to you, are you siding with Barkley? Or are you riding with LeBron on this